All right. So today, this is the regular meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission. Today is April 19th. Madam Recording Secretary, please take roll call.
Commissioner Here. Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner McKee.
Here.
Commissioner Top.
Here.
Commissioner Pena.
Here.
Madam Chair,
Seeing a quorum, this meeting is officially called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may all be seated. This is a time for the Commission to consider matters under the consent calendar. Items include 1 and 2. Do any members have any corrections to the minutes or items they wish to pull for separate discussion or abstain on? Do I have a motion to consider items 1 and 2?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? We have a first and a second. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passed by unanimous consent. So now on to work-study sessions. We have one work-study session. Please take note that there will be no motion or action taken on these items. First item to discuss is an update on the review panel for the Investing in the Artists Grant Opportunity 2018-2019. Take it away, Tram.
Thank you, Chairman Pena. Commissioner Pena. I think actually this year we have a very good panel. So we have 5 people on our review panel. If I can direct you to the slide printout of the PowerPoint. Our first, I will just read how we selected our panels. Well, we took into account outside panelists, which we actually have a lot this time. They live in different cities, but actually they're very familiar with Santa Ana. They've engaged in Santa Ana either by creating art here or have worked somehow in Santa Ana. So they're familiar with it, but they work and live outside for other arts organizations, arts or nonprofit organizations. The application for panelists was opened on submittable.com from March 2nd to April 3rd, so we gave them about a month to apply. And staff is now recommending to the commission today. And the applications will be assigned to these panelists on May the 4th, at the day after the applications are due. Panelists will then convene in person at City Hall on May 24th, and then their reviews will be due. I will try to have them review everything with their scores by that day, so that we don't miss anybody. However, I'll give them another week in case they want to go home and think about it just a little bit more. And then the final official deadline to turn it in would be May 29th, 2018, for them to make any other further changes. So for each panelist, I'm going to go through. There's 5 panelists. The first one is Angela Gaspar Milanovic. I'm going to read her bio so that I don't miss anything. As Director of Grants and Professional Development of the LA County Arts Commission, Angela oversees the organizational grant, Community Impact Arts Grant, and the largest paid arts internship program in the country, as well as professional development opportunities for artists and art administrators, the fostering of public and private partnerships, and connecting regional art funders. Prior to joining the Arts Commission in 2007, she worked in development at St. Joseph Ballet in Santa Ana, now known as the Wooden Floor, and also has held several positions at the American Red Cross of Orange County in public relations and disaster relief services, which include traveling to North Carolina and El Salvador. Early in her career, she interned at UNESCO in Paris, France, as well as at a newspaper in Santiago, Chile. Fluent in several languages, including Spanish, she received a BA in Latin American Studies and French Literature from Lake Forest College and attended Vanderbilt University's graduate program in Latin American Studies. A traveler at heart, in recent years she spent time in Eastern Europe, Costa Rica, Peru, and Mexico. Next panelist is Linda Trinvo. Dr. Linda Trinvo is a professor and former chair at of the Department of Asian American Studies at the University of California, Irvine. Dr. Vo is the author of a book, Mobilizing an Asian American Community, about how and why Asian Americans strategically organize for social, cultural, political, and economic purposes. Dr. Vo was president of the National Association for Asian American Studies. She is director of Viet Stories Vietnamese American Oral History Project at UCI and is the co-curator of 2 exhibitions, Vietnamese Focus, Generations of Stories, and Viet Stories, Recollections and Regenerations. She has helped to organize the annual Viet Film Fest, formerly Biennial Vietnamese International Film Festival, and is also an advisory board member for the Vietnamese American Arts and Letters Association, the Diasporic Vietnamese Arts Network, and the Vietnamese American Heritage Foundation. Currently, she is a member of the South Coast Repertory Theater Working Group. Our third panelist is Luisa Carriaga. Luisa has worked as a senior manager and arts consultant for various nonprofits in Southern California with 18 years of nonprofit development and management experience and over 20 years of experience in the arts. Currently, she is the director of institutional giving for Pacific Symphony in Orange County, the resident orchestra of the Segerstrom Center for the Arts. She is the former grants manager of the Music Center, where she worked for 6 years, and she previously worked as managing director of the Bilingual Foundation of the Arts, the acclaimed Spanish-English theater company. As a consultant, she worked with American Youth Symphony as their interim executive director and for the Museum of Latin American Art. Prior to consulting, she worked for the Los Angeles County Arts Commission, overseeing their technical assistance program, internship program, and grant panels. Prior to joining the staff at the LA County Arts Commission in 1998, Luisa served on their grant panel and later on panels for California Arts Council, National Association for Latino Arts and Culture, City of Los Angeles' Department of Cultural Affairs, City of Santa Clarita, Public Corporations for the Arts, which is called Long Beach Arts Council, and City of Santa Ana. Our fourth panelist is Ricardo Duffy. Ricardo has extensive training and experience in creating, executing, and managing major public art projects. He has created major public artworks for both indoor and outdoor, such as the Lincoln Heights Library, Ontario International Airport, Florence Metro Station for Los Angeles Metro, and East Los Angeles Civic Center. He believes public artworks must be relevant to and appreciated by the respective communities where they are situated through historical research of the community it will serve, as well as working directly with the community where possible. His successful execution of public artworks has been a direct result of his great working relationships with city, county, and state government agencies, architects, designers, contractors, and community members. And our fifth panelist is Suzanne Alicia Walsh. For the past 10 years, Suzanne Walsh has been the full-time director of the Latin Contemporary Gallery in Laguna Beach, Salt Fine Art, as well as an independent curator, writer, and arts marketing specialist. She has curated shows for the Great Park Palm Courts Arts Complex in Irvine, California, the Santa Monica Playhouse, the Orange County Center for Contemporary Arts in Santa Ana, and numerous exhibitions for private and public spaces on both the East and West Coasts. So that's it. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of the panelists who were selected?
Sounds like a great roster.
Yeah, I'm very impressed, actually.
So, how were they selected?
They applied, and then they were actually the only 5 people who applied, but
Wow.
Luckily, yeah.
That's
So it was, yeah, it worked out. I didn't have to reject anybody, so that's kind of a good thing.
I think this is the most outstanding selection panel we've had. Super diverse, and I think they're going to do great things for all the artists that they review, whether they're selected for funding or not. It's great that these set of eyes are going to look at all the applicants.
Exactly, yes. I agree.
well done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, public comments. Does the public have any comments they wish to share with the commission? We have one person here that's turned in a notice, and that's Edward Terrell. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Terrell. If you'd like to come up, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me. I have some handouts that would help my 3 minutes tremendously. Could you hand these out, Captain? I'm here to speak about just the grant that's being proposed to the community. I just became aware of this grant about a week or so, and I'm kind of pressured for the deadline of it, but I'm going to make an effort to do it. I'm a individual artist, a freelance artist, so with my proposal, as you see in front of you, I'm trying to collaborate with an organization here in Santa Ana. I applied for your last grant, and I took part in it along with the aide with Gabby here, and for the bathroom murals, and they selected one of my designs for that mural. So what I have before you now is a proposal that I want to put together for this new grant. But my time period is very limited. I think it's due May 3rd. And so what I'm trying to suggest here now is that if I don't really get this project through the grant, I would like to collaborate with the Arts Council here to make this kind of happen, because as you see, the first page indicates that it's about the Santa Ana Mural Arts Tour. It would be a collaboration whereby we would put together history and documents and a website based on all the murals and the public art in the community of Santa Ana. We could update it also. That would add to a tourist attraction of being part of the Arts Walk or being a part of another event going on in the community, whereby it becomes a part of the archives of the city. Because I'm coming from the East Coast, and I've had murals there, and I've also started a mural tour project back east. And that kind of really binds the community together and holds together the event. So look over my brief synopsis of what I thought I could do here, and thank you for giving me audience.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Terrell. Would staff like to respond to Mr. Terrell's request?
Actually, he had already met with me and Gabby, so we had already had a discussion and conversation, and I gave him some resources about a meeting with Manny. I connected him with Manny Escamilla because Manny already has a catalog of most of the murals, so that he doesn't have double his efforts. So I believe he will be working with Manny on that, and talked about a few other things with him.
Okay, great. Awesome. Do any other commissioners have any comments or questions? Or
I think it's a great proposal. Hopefully, you'll get a grant, and if not, hopefully we can still take care of you, because this is, I think, something that we should probably be doing anyway. So, yeah.
So there's a lot of great folks, here in the city that you might want to partner, with. So, be thoughtful and think of all the components that, might be needed for the tour, like, how folks are going to get around, or, how you're going to, categorize the areas and convey a little bit about, what the mural's about. I don't want to say any more because, then we get into specifics. So.
I'm meeting with Manny this evening.
Great. He's going to have a lot of great ideas for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we have another commenter here. Victor Payan, you have 3 minutes.
All right, hello, everybody. Good to see a full house here today. Just wanted to come in and report back on the Dia del Niño celebration. We had a really wonderful event. As you know, this was the event that Art Associate worked on with the Centro in Birch Park, and the Centro pulled out, so it was moved to OC Fair and Event Center. And so Media Art Santa Ana was a partner, and we worked really hard to maintain Santa Ana participation, as we had mentioned. And just to list some of the names of the groups that participated, Fraternidad Diabla de Bolivia is from Santa Ana, Ballet Folclórico Las Estrellas, OCSA, Santa Ana High School Theater Arts Conservatory, Emily Baena, the singer, Claudia de la Cruz Flamenco Institute, Octac Classical Strings, Pilares de Mexico, Relámpago del Cielos, Santa Ana High School Chamber Singers. So we had a pretty good representation of Santa Ana groups. And also in terms of the artists, we had Dino Perez, we had, what's his name, Moises Vasquez from Latino Health Access, we had Yenny Bernal. We had about half of our artists were from Santa Ana also, so we really delivered on that. And they really reached out to a large audience. We had over 5,000 people, and the fair wants us back next year for 2 days. It was, I think, a 7-hour festival, so people were pretty tired by the end of it, but it was really an effective way to get everybody's information out. So to talk about the success of the festival and also festivals in general, I want to come to another point, is that there's word getting out in the community that the Cinco de Mayo festival has been canceled this year. And I wanted to know if any of you had heard of this or had any idea what the process was. Anybody? Okay, so if you could follow up, I'm asking as a festival organizer and someone who also has wanted to, work with Cinco de Mayo, and we've had a booth there when I worked at the Bowers and with Media Art Santa Ana and with Miniondas. Any attempt to move the festivals out of the downtown or to cancel them is very detrimental to the cultural health of this community. And I know that Cinco de Mayo and fiestas routinely draw hundreds of thousands of people. And I just spoke to the owner of the Barrel Room, and he was concerned because he said that's his biggest day of the year. And he has to hire security because he has so many people coming in. So I know that there's also a group of downtown artists mobilizing against the festivals. And if this is related, I just want to make sure that the commission is informed and defends the festivals in this community that brings joy to so many people and presenting opportunities for a lot of the community organizations. And if you need my help on any of this, I'd be happy to, but just wanted to see if any of you knew, because it is a matter of concern if one of our major festivals is either canceled or moved out of the downtown. Thank you.
Would staff have any news on this matter?
Well, the only thing I know is that it's usually organized by Parks and Rec. And when I talked to Parks and Rec community manager, she said that they were very short-staffed and it takes a lot of their resources. So it's a resource issue, not enough funding and staff to run festivals like this.
Has there been any discussion of bidding out the management?
Yes, they tried to bid it out.
Yeah.
But apparently, if it's not happening, then it was not successful.
Is it not happening?
Yeah, it's not happening, as far as I know.
Oh, the event's been canceled this year?
As far as I know, yes. The event's been canceled.
Wasn't it also the Small Business Association involved in that too?
I don't believe so.
No? Okay.
I don't believe they were. I believe it was really a Parks and Rec,
Parks and Rec.
yeah, event.
There was no option for any kind of a public-private partnership to put it on?
And
I don't know
Commissioners,
all the-
I apologize for stepping in at this point, but we can't really take this conversation too much further because this is not an agendized item.
Right.
So we can't really discuss anymore, but I'm sure some more information can be gathered and presented at a future meeting.
Could we get a report on that in the future?
Yeah, I would like to hear more about, the environment, that created this. I know Parks and Rec took on the two festivals because I believe when they were bid out to MX Live, they split with a lot of money, and so I think that soured the city on outside contractors. But I hope we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So if we could just get some more information, hear something about the Fiestas Patrias / Fiestas de las Americas, which is scheduled for September. That would be great, because then we can speak from a place of knowledge and knowing at least how we can help the situation or find alternatives.
I think I just want to make a comment that I think I can understand why the festivals would be under Parks and Rec, but considering the existence of this commission now, I kind of also feel like we should be involved because these are cultural events or a celebration of what America has designated to be a cultural event. Anyway, so, but yeah, I think that that's something that our commission should be included on in some manner. So if there are other arts and culture related activities or events in the city that are led by other departments, I think we need to kind of coalesce that information, and at least our commission is kept aware. That's it.
I think that's a great point to bring up. And I just want to add also that Originally, when the commission came together, we had a subcommittee that was an events subcommittee. I believe that subcommittee might have, I don't think it ever met, but I think it was supposed to be, I think Marissa was on that subcommittee at one point and might have suggested that we have an events subcommittee, because events are usually big cultural events, and there's also a economic side to events, not just to have the money to have them, but the events themselves can be major money makers. And just last month, we did take a little excursion to San Diego, Tram and I got the opportunity to introduce her to some of the City of San Diego staff, and we were lucky to run into their economic development staff and to one of their major, actually the person who used to run all the boosters, or supervise them for the entire city, and is responsible for 4 of San Diego's biggest money-making festivals. The Roots Festival, Adams Avenue Street Festival, Adams Avenue Restaurant, there's some restaurant festival, but a lot of festivals. I'm told that he makes about $90,000 in profits per festival. These are all festivals that are located in commercial and retail zones. I think there's 2 different kinds of events that we're talking about. We're talking about the little community events that might happen at Plaza Santa Ana or something. And I think it's good for us to know, about them, because we might be able to suggest, artists, performers, or maybe, surround activities like visual artists. I think in the past, Gerardo has printed things on vinyl flags and put them in a tent. But, when you have all this resource here and such amazing local artists, we could really put something together that would shine. But also, I just want to emphasize to staff to please connect with staff that, maybe in other municipalities that already have a workable formula that consistently delivers. And Scott Kessler, who runs the Adams Avenue Bid Association, I have brought him up to SABC for years. I brought him up to Downtown Inc. for years. I was trying to get them to bring him up so he could consult on these festivals, because our festivals in our downtown commercial district should not be losing money. They should be making money, and they should be making money for all of the retail commercial vendors and the little booths. And I just want to emphasize that, Scott Kessler's festival's $90,000 in revenue. That's not counting the vendor sales, not counting the additional brick and mortar sales. So that's a lot of money every single time to make. So we're not structuring things correctly from the business standpoint, or really from the cultural standpoint. If we're struggling right here between Disneyland and the beach, no reason to struggle. We should be raking it in. So I really hope that we can continue this conversation and maybe work some kind of a hybrid way of functioning, so we can function with Parks and Rec, because Parks and Rec's not really set up to make money. Economic development is, and to stimulate the wealth, growing ability of our businesses. So it would be great to have at least some of these bigger festivals that do have that potential, just bring them over so we can have some, input and can put in our expertise. I think when we all work together, we can really make something sensational happen.
I think that would be under commissioner member comments that we just
yes.
Yes. Okay.
So if we want to, just slide into the rest of the commission member comments, we can go ahead and do that if other commissioners would like to. Oh, we didn't do staff member comments, so sorry. I jumped ahead of everything. So, staff member comments?
Yes. I just want to update everybody on the very successful grant writing workshop whom Ed and Miss Christine attended. There was actually 50 people who showed up, so that's a significant amount at Santa Ana College. Actually, over 100 people signed up, but because it's free, so there's a lot of drop off. But we have all those 100 people contacts now, so that's a great thing. It was very successful. Tomas Benitez is excellent. In fact, he will be coming back for another workshop for donor cultivation, because aim more towards organizations or whoever wants to cultivate donors. So he's very good and entertaining. And then secondly, I'd like to update everybody on the Transportation for America grant/workshop. Unfortunately, we were not selected to participate in the workshops, and they had received 43 applications, and we scored very well, just not in the top 3. I called in for comments. And they based their selection on need, particularly on economics and population. And then they said that they had such a good, I don't know if he's just saying this, but I believe him, that they had such a great application pool this year, and that we were farther ahead than a lot of people. And he felt like they as an organization felt like there were certain communities that needed it more. So they selected 3 cities: Buffalo, New York; Bozeman, Missouri. Is there such a thing? MO, is that Missouri? And Mariposa County, California. So that's it. That's the update on that. I'm sorry?
What was the third one?
Mariposa County, California.
Oh, okay.
However, our project, I believe, and our team believes that our project is very, very strong, so we will continue to apply for grants. In fact, we just submitted an application to the Bloomberg Public Art Challenge grant. Yes, and it was due today.
Yes.
So we turned that in.
Yes.
That's it for me.
So we do have some good news. The city has appointed a new executive director for community development. Ooh. His name is Stephen Mendoza, and he's from the city of Los Alamitos, where he's the director of development services, and his start date is May 1st. So we'll bring him to the next Arts and Culture Commission meeting and introduce him.
All right. Thank you. That's great news. So now it's time for commissioner comments, right? So if folks want to take it away.
All right, just a couple announcements. This Saturday, we're having our Jam Exchange at UC Irvine at the Claire Trevor School of the Arts. So far, I have about 50 kids that are going to be attending from Santa Ana, so some of the parents are going to be taking them there. However, it is open to everybody. It's open to the public. Kids ages 5 through 12 can take a workshop class from 12 to 2 p.m. From an acclaimed ballet and Broadway performer from Harlem, New York. She was also on Disney's Lion King. So kids will get a little glimpse of the dance workshop there. Second is the Art Walk Mixer is going to be on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. So it's going to be at El Indio Restaurant for Taco Tuesday. That's 309 West 3rd Street in Santa Ana, downtown. So it's a perfect way to kind of connect with other artists as well and collaborate. And then our Santa Ana College dance concert, student choreographers will be presenting their works at the Phillips Hall Theater and our campus on the weekend of Cinco de Mayo, so May 3rd through the 5th. The Thursday, May 3rd, they're going to have a post-performance discussion at 7:30 p.m. You're more than welcome to come to that. And I also thoroughly enjoyed the amazing gold nuggets that Tony Benitez shared at the grant writing workshop. So, thank you.
No comment.
I think we're our subcommittee for the priorities. Yeah, the implementation priorities. We haven't, or I was not able to attend the last meeting, so I don't know what exactly happened. So I don't know if there's someone who can give a recap. That would be great. I know that I did speak with Councilwoman Martinez about our desire to move forward with the mural policy or ordinance or whatever. So she indicated that she would be very open to sitting down with us in some way to discuss how she could maybe be our advocate on the city council for whatever it is that we come up with. So I think we should probably reschedule another subcommittee meeting and go over the case studies that I will be submitting, that have been submitted by Commissioners Garcia and Pena, so that we can kind of move this along. And then I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
No comment. Okay. All right. Just real quick to address Commissioner Cha's question about the last subcommittee meeting. We went through your excellent and amazing notes, very detailed notes, and we fleshed out some suggestions for addressing and proceeding with each of them. I have not typed up such excellent notes, but I will get that out to you. And when we reschedule our meeting for this month, sometime later this month, because I think it was canceled this last week, our subcommittee? No? Mm-hmm. Okay, that might be an old email. So whenever we have our next meeting, then we can move forward. And we have some really good recommendations. We were joined in by Ricardo Duffy at the last meeting because we were talking about the mural ordinance. So he had some great suggestions of resources. I did reach out to LA Arts Commission at his suggestion and spoke to the person in charge of their mural, of administering their mural ordinance, and I emailed both of you and Tram the documents that they sent me, which was actual mural ordinance language, and I believe 2 other documents about how they got there, how they organized it. So they're real good suggestions there, and read through them when you can, and hopefully I'll have time to put this together by the time you finished reading those.
So I guess I want to follow up with one last comment, which is as we're working in the subcommittee for some mural policy or whatever it is, can we get some guidance about how we can either I know we need to work with the attorney, the city attorney. So whether it's just the mechanics of do we propose the language? If it's a policy, do we propose the language? If it's a change in code, who does that? Maybe if we can just have some a roadmap so that we know exactly what it is that we're going to be proposing to the city council. So that so if we can have that, thank you.
It's like how a bill becomes a law, but how an idea becomes an ordinance. What the path is, kind of.
Yeah, I don't think we
the
need
process.
to watch that video. But yeah, something along those lines of what leeway, what universe it is that we're going to be able to operate in for a mural policy or ordinance or code or whatever it is that we're allowed to do. So, yeah.
I think that's a great suggestion. I was thinking of synthesizing based on your notes, some of the notes on the mural ordinance and based on the actual thing, just on writing a draft that incorporates some of the language that we've already identified that's in our city charter, for planning and, some of the other, like the graffiti abatement language, and just kind of putting all that together and then turning it over to staff to run it through the gauntlet of whoever needs to see it and, edit it and revise it. So, but Tram, I'm sure will, also see if we're on the right path and if there's any modifications we need to make to our process. Okay. So, aside from that, I've already said a lot about, money-making, the potential of money-making festivals. But since we are in economic development right now, I just want to re-emphasize that I suggested that staff speak to Scott Kessler, who does a lot of events for the Adams Avenue Business Association and used to supervise all of San Diego's bids. And he has a great model when you walk down Scott's Adams Avenue, which spans 3 major neighborhoods. All of the merchants are flourishing. They're all happy. You ask them how they're doing and how business is doing. They're all saying business is doing great. They've all been on the street for 30 years or more, and they all love the festivals because it really jumpstarts their revenue. And you can speak with him personally and hear his advice on how to structure festivals so that they reflect retail, anchors and trends within your business district. He's got a wonderful, wonderful process that he employs. Aside from that, I thought the grant workshop was super amazing. I had so many people just telling me what a difference it made, how it completely gave them a different perspective, and folks are so hungry for more. So I think these professional development opportunities are the city is ready for them, and we did come up with some suggestions for additional professional development offerings at our last subcommittee meeting. So I'll just type up those notes and send them out to you. And aside from that, just I'm really happy with the panel selection. You've been doing a super amazing job, Tram, and we did turn in, I think, a very competitive proposal. If anyone wants to take a look at it, I think Tram can probably share that with them. But we, all elements came together, and we just basically built on that Transportation for America's grant. So we just took the guts of that same grant, and we just built it out with light sculpture in environments, like living light sculpture with surround events that would happen at each of the 10 OC streetcar stops, or not at them, but in coordination with them. So it's a great opportunity to commemorate our fabulous diversity, our amazing history that we have here in the city. So I hope you all enjoy reading it. And with that, I believe our next Arts Commission meeting is scheduled for May. No, she did the no comment earlier. Is it May 17th, our next commission meeting? Yes. Okay, so May 17th, Thursday, May 17th. And sorry, one more thing that I had to add there. I also think that Cinco de Mayo and the Fiestas Patrias / Fiestas de las Americas are very, very important events for the city. They've been going on for decades. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement, and we could really make them self-sustaining and real generators of revenue if we just tweak out things a little bit. So, thank you. With that said, this concludes our Arts Commission meeting for April, and this meeting is adjourned.